all you crazy people. I guess I'm the crazy one here because, as you can see, I decided to lay out every Sonic game I own. I did this in a short form, but today we're going to take a look at these more extensively. Have them organized, pretty much, you can tell. You start from the mainline games from Sonic 1, 1991, to Sonic Superstars. They did the handheld adventures. They included handheld versions of some of the mainline games, so they fit better there. Some main Sonic games that aren't spin-off games that aren't like racing related. And then I did some of the racing games there. Then you got the compilation games and crossover games, Sega. Then Mario, and kind of Sonic appears in them, so I counted them. Super Smash Brothers. Forgot to put this game in the pile. This is around 70 games in total. That is whatever you count. If you don't count duplicate games, a game that's the same game on a different console, and other little things like that, or digital games. I do own some Steam games, and yeah. But hey, I'll do a little in depth here. Just might as well. Let's have some fun with this. All right. The first game we got Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. This is a pretty good game. It's actually the first game I got on Genesis. It's a bundle that came with it, but mine just happened to come with it back in, was it 2011? I got it. I don't really know. This is a not for resale version, which is the one that specifically came bundled with it, but it was a loose when I bought it because I don't really know. Anyway, pretty cool game, and overall, yeah, it's the one of those games you have to have. It's not expensive, so if you're a Sonic fan, you don't have the original Sonic and Genesis, and what are you doing for life? Next, we got Sonic 2. This one was kind of beat up, but it did come with the manual. Actually, I don't know why I said that. I think it only comes with the poster. I don't know why I say it came with a manual, but it did come with a poster, which I have on my door. And there is the cartridge, which is really beat up, but I didn't do that. That's how I bought it. I got it for cheap because I had to have Sonic 2. And we got my favorite classic Sonic game, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Though it's only the best one when you get the add-on, which I have. Is one of the only games you'll see that's loose here.
That
and there's
game
Sonic Spinball. I guess
is
it's debatable because it's main line, but
box and
you know, it's close enough, so yeah, this is a printed-on case.
The lock-on technology,
reduction case, because
pretty hard to store
this in anything. And there's Sonic Spinball. I guess
for the most part, though, I don't like to store it anywhere.
You know, it's close enough, so
I keep it.
Yeah, this is a printed-on case in a because reduction case because this came loose.
Sonic 3.
And there's Sonic Spinball. I guess. Then there's Sonic Spinball. I guess it's debatable if this is main line, but you know, it's close enough, so. Yeah, this is a printed-on case in a reduction case because this came loose. As you can see, I do have it inside there. It's a pretty beat-up cart. People just like don't take care of their games. Anything that's beat up was not me. It was how I bought it. And I try to clean them up as best as possible, but sometimes games are going to look ugly, and that's why you cover them up in nice cases. And Sonic 3 Blast is in the same camp as Sonic Spinball, though this game is kind of hard to find with the case. But not too much. This is some ugly box art, by the way. And a game, I reviewed a good amount of these games, so check that out on my channel if you're interested in that. And yeah, this is Sonic 3D Blast, the game inside. Next we got Sonic Adventure, and these are jewel cases, so they crack. This one actually, unfortunately, it's there, but the disc just doesn't work, which is unfortunate. I need to buy a new one. But usually when I play this game, I play it on this copy, Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Thought I'd include it since, you know, it is the basically the same game with modifications. Some that people don't like, but I don't mind them too much. It's not too bad. But I do own both versions of the game. Then we get Sonic Adventure 2. The one on the Dreamcast is actually just a reproduction. I did get like a custom disc because the game was $100, and I really love this game. It's one of my favorites, but it's so expensive, so like I'll do that. Unfortunately, the reduction wasn't that great. So now we got nothing inside. Now I got nothing. So just a little empty box. But here's my main game. In my review, I said the Adventure 2 battle. It's so minimal, the differences, in my opinion, that you can go, I think it's better to pick up battle anyway. This is my beloved game. If you didn't see my video on it, which I won't be surprised, you wouldn't know this is my favorite game of all time. Just because it's just a game that just brings me a lot of joy, even if I probably have hours in more other games. It's just a really fun game. Next, we got Sonic Heroes on GameCube and PS2. They're both the greatest hits or player's choice copies, meaning the bestseller versions, the cheaper ones. Of course, GameCube plays better than the PS2 one. This is actually my childhood copy. Most of these games that I have had as a kid are that, but this one in particular is important since it's the first ever Sonic game I ever played, and I guess I didn't take it out on my GameCube. You can tell because the manual is beat up because I used to take it out and look at it every night for some reason, just looking at the character bios. I was a weird kid. Next, we got Shadow the Hedgehog. I only have it on GameCube. It would be nice to have a different copy of the game because I like to own multiple different copies. I want to own every Sonic game there is, even though that might not be possible. I count this as a mainline because it basically is, to be honest, the way it's structured. It's just the fact that it has stars another character. If I had Knuckles Chaos, I'd also put that in the main line, but I do not own that game. Yeah, I need to replay this so I can give my full opinion on it. Next, I got the infamous Sonic 06, but if it's so infamous, how come it's a Platinum Family Hits? This is an ugly box, or not the actual game itself, it's okay, but the Platinum Hits for Xbox, like, what is this crap? I really don't like what Xbox does for their Platinum Hits. It just stands out. Like, instead of the clean green cases, we get these ugly silver ones. It looks terrible on the 360 and original Xbox. I'm glad they stopped doing this. I'm of the opinion that this is one of the most overhated games of all time. It has a lot of bugs and problems, but there's like way worse games out there, even worse Sonic games. And it has a unique charm to it. I kind of hate the fact that this game changed so much of the franchise, in my opinion, for the worse, because they think all the elements are in this game. Oh, well, that's the problem, even though they use it in other games. Let's stop using the adventure formula and having multiple different characters, and we'll just have Sonic only and boring gameplay. I can get into a rant about that all day, but yeah. Even though I actually played this later in my lifetime, I didn't grow up with this game, I don't think it's terrible. It's not great, but it's not bad. And I'm done here. And here's a game that I grew up with, and I think it's terrible. I maybe need to replay it, but yeah, this is the game that they like. You know what? Instead of having all our full team work on this major Sonic game that's supposed to be for next gen, how about we split up a team and make a motion control Sonic game? So yeah, just because of that, and just never really liking it that much, even though I've had it for a very long time. This is another one of my childhood copy games on Sonic Secret Rings. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I think this one really tarnished the legacy of the storybook games, which was an interesting concept, but I think it was only interesting when they get to the second one in this franchise. Yeah. Here I have Sonic Unleashed on Xbox 360 and on Wii. You don't have the PS3 or PS2 versions. If you didn't know, Unleashed has two different versions, technically speaking. The 360 and PS3 versions are the main Sonic Team one, and the Wii and PS2 version was actually made by Dimps, who made the 2D games. But yeah, I just counted them together. I didn't realize that because I played the Wii one and didn't really like get into it. And I was like, oh, well, the 360 version, PS3 version is better, and I ended up playing for that. I guess I had to clean that case better because whoever had it for me showed up their ass or something. Actually, that's probably where GameStop sticker is. I've had taken off so many GameStop stickers in some games, I just forget they have them. Unleashed is one of those games that it's good, but I think it's a little overrated, in my opinion. The Werehog is just not fun enough to stomach playing through, and you feel like you're playing that most of the game. Sorry, but this is not my cup of tea. Maybe I need to replay it. Then we got Sonic the Black Knight. I wish I grew up with this game instead of the other one, because I got this one a little later. And yeah, this is the last storybook game. It's not bad. I actually recommend playing it if you have a Wii. It's one of the better Sonic games on that console. Next, we got Sonic Colors. I have the Wii and Switch version. The Switch version, pretty much exactly the same game. They just did a half-assed port job. But yeah, I didn't really experience any bugs or problems on the Switch version, even though people are like, oh, it's terrible. I don't know. People say that I feel like they overhype some things sometimes. Like I ran into a bunch of bugs in the PS5 Spider-Man 2, but people are like, that's a masterpiece with no bugs. So maybe I'm crazy here. But yeah, Ultimate, but I'm not defending Ultimate. Ultimate was just a lazy, half-assed port. But hey, I guess I'll take it. Yeah, not big fan of Sonic Colors. It's fine. It's fun. You get through it fine, but you'll just forget about it once you're done. The levels are fun. The storyline's absolute garbage. Here's one of my favorites, Sonic Generation. I have 360 and PS3. I would say the 360 one's my original copy, but unfortunately, it kind of is. But the case is not, because long time ago, someone went in our house and stole stuff, and one of them were just 360 cases. Luckily, none of the games were stolen because we didn't keep them inside the cases at that time. So yeah, here's a 360 Platinum Hits. I got that when it came out, and then later I picked up this PS3 version, which has 3D. From what I've heard, the PS3 version is not as good as the 360, slightly. Yeah, these are great games, and I'm interested to see what the remaster is going to look like with the Sonic X Shadow Generations. So I really love this game. This is a game I really need to go back to. I don't know what the bonus edition means, But yeah, I got this game back when it came out, and then I never finished it. I was like, yeah, this is not interesting. I'm gonna put it down, and then I never went back to it. So for like over 10 years now, I haven't played it, and I was like, okay, I was gonna wait for the best time, but it kind of showcases the quality of the game. That's really not. It's like one of the least interesting Sonic games out there. Though I didn't know that it did get a Steam release. I don't know what this case is about, like this weird case. I swear I got this for like new, but one of the only games I don't think I've ever played that I own. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I got this like a couple months ago, and yeah, I never got it when it came out. It looked interesting when it was first announced, but then I hear it's bad. It's like, I was kind of skeptical. Then I hear it's bad. It's like, I'm not gonna pick that crap up. It's not bad in an interesting way either, unless you want to do the Knuckles glitch. So eventually, the game kind of got a little more pricey. So I better buy this before it gets really extreme, because I know this game will be like that, because it's bad, but at the same time, it's interesting bad, and also there's some many copies out there. But yeah, I'm honestly not a big fan of the Sonic Boom franchise, like, at all. It could have been interesting at one point, but the TV show is something I don't get into, and the games look like a schlock. But we'll see when I get to them in my Sonic retrospective. She had a pretty big gap, because in between the Sonic Boom, there's like nothing. Like, the Sonic Boom era was easily the worst era of Sonic, just because there's like no content other than the comics, which the comics are always good. But yeah, finally, in 2017, we got Sonic Mania. Here I got Sonic Mania on Xbox One and Sonic Mania Plus on Switch. I also have a copy on Steam. And I have other copies of Sonic Game on Steam, so I'm not going to really mention them. But yeah, this game is pretty good. My biggest problem is that they reuse stages, which is fine. I do like the remixes, but I wish there was more original stages and more of a story, because I like stories in my Sonic games. That's why Sonic 3 is my favorite classic games. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. Also, I want my Insta Shield. I don't care about the drop dash. That's controversial opinion, I know, but I like my Insta Shield, alright? And yeah, that's Sonic Mania. Got Sonic Forces. This is like the most hated Sonic game right now. Yeah, it's not great, but it's kind of in the camp of Sonic 06, but not really buggy. It just, I don't know, it has interesting concepts. It's better than Lost World and Boom, in my opinion. I know it fails in some categories, but it's such some of the things it does bad. It does it so interesting bad that kind of is entertaining. Plus, the Avatar mechanic is just a good concept, and I kind of like the way it was executed for the most part. But yeah, other than that, the game isn't that great. But in a weird way, I kind of enjoy it. But it's not a good game, don't get me wrong. But it's not god-awful, worst thing ever. It's the best story that the writers have written. They include Sonic Generations, which is a good game, but has very little story. I'm glad the writers of this, Colors, Generations, and Lost World are gone, because they were terrible writers. Also, this Sonic PS4 is a bonus edition that comes with weird sticker decals. Yeah, they're pretty weird looking. I'm just going to keep them in here. I don't want to damage any of my two PS4 controllers. Not that I use them anymore, because the PS5 plays all the PS4 games, and the PS5 controller is the best. The last mainline game is Sonic Frontiers, which is mostly a good game with problems. It gets a big boost in a lot of people's eyes because the story is finally good. And then, yeah, in my opinion, yeah, that's all that really matters. Even though the gameplay is not bad, but I feel like it could be better. But that's just, we're at the point where, like, there's always, like, a nuance to any of the Sonic games. Like, oh, that's good, but, you know, that could have been better. Maybe the next game will fix that, and they'll do something brand new. But, yeah, we'll see. Sega might surprise us after all. So, yeah, I own this on Switch and PlayStation 5. Once again, I don't really notice much of difference. Maybe, actually, I don't think I ever played it on PS5. I just have it. Yeah, but yeah, it's a fun game. Here's the last mainline Sonic game, Sonic Superstars. As you can see, I have the reversible cover on it, which looks way better with the nice 2D art, that style. It looks really clean. The only reason you can't tell is the main box art is because there's no ESRB stuff down there in the Switch logo, but it looks pretty clean. On the inside, you can see that this is what... There's the other side, and look, Lego Eggman! I had no idea what the Lego promotion was, but hey. I'm sorry about this other box art. By the way, Lego Eggman. And Lego Sonic stuff. I already have a bunch of Lego Sonic stuff. Yeah, that box art just doesn't do anything for me. It looks like crap. That's why I use reversible. Alright, we're going into the handheld games. So, a lot of the loose games that do not have their case, I like to put them in custom cases. Just because I'm OCD like that. And here you go. Here's the Game Gear games. These are tight fits, but they fit pretty good for the most part. So there's the Sonic the Hedgehog 1. A lot of these games are actually pretty common, at least the ones I have for Sonic, but they're pretty interesting. Like I said, I did a review on most of these games, and I'm going to do a review on all of them when I get the chance. But yeah, this is Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Game Gear. One of the most common games on the Game Gear, it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Here it is, and it's a nice little case. Yes, these are pretty much custom. At one point, I just bought the Rifted one, so I was like, oh, yeah, I can buy these bulk online. So this one is an early one. It looks like kind of crabby, but, you know. And these nice printed out things. There's a template for these online in case you want to figure them out. There's, like, not a whole lot made, but some people have made them, and for the most part, I made these. I don't think anyone else has made Game Gear ones like this, because I'm not sure how many people use Game Gear. You gotta modify these a little bit more than you would have to for like a Game Boy situation. Here's Sonic and Tails for the Sega Game Gear, or as we call it, Sonic Chaos, which is the American version. What's the Eggman has no eyes there? Interesting. Also, this game is not called Sonic Chaos. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog. Actually, you can't see it because it's not zoomed in. The Hedgehog Chaos. But pretty much everything else just calls it Sonic Chaos because no one sees that little the Hedgehog there. Nothing really matters. Sonic Triple Trouble or Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. Yeah, there's the cover. There's ugly Adventures Eggman there. There's Knuckles pointing a fist at Sonic. Here it is, Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. Alright, that's all the Game Gear games I own for Sonic. There's a lot of Sonic games on Game Gear, but these are the only ones I own. They're the best ones, too, so I actually like Sonic Labyrinth. I'm one of the weird people that like Sonic Labyrinth, but some of the other ones, there's two there only released in Japan, and the other ones are kind of expensive. Yeah, one day I will get them, but they're not priority because they're in a bunch of compilations, and I can play them pretty much anytime I want. But I'll just have them for collecting purposes because the Game Gear is not a fun console to play on. I have them for display only. Here's a Sonic Advance for the Game Boy Advance. Here's what this looks like when you have a GBA game there. And this is how I do it. They kind of fit right nicely in between little two things. Now, if you want to be picky, you can put felt in your own custom thing in there. But it's not necessary. For the most part, these aren't traveling. They're in stationary in the shelf. And that little movement isn't really going to do much to it. It's better just to have them in there and protect from dust and for better display opportunities like this. Yeah, here's Sonic Advance. Pretty good game. I reviewed it. But why did they make it published by THQ? Say you couldn't publish this yourself? Now we can't get these games re-released because of your idiotic decision to make THQ publish these. Thanks, Sega. And I have the rest of the Sonic Advance games. So I got Sonic Advance 2. This is the last one I got. I have the manual for this, but I have it somewhere else because the manual does not fit in here. It didn't come with the actual case, but that's okay. It's pretty nice. I got Sonic Advance 3 as well. I love my custom cases, that's all I can say. Here's Sonic Rush. This is not the case it comes in. See, it says Kingdom Hearts 3D. Like, what? What's that about? And, well, there's Sonic Rush there. Yeah, since 3DS games aren't black, I put the DS game in there. It's not the best, but hey, Sonic Rush is a pretty good game. Rush Adventure, I had to use the little thing because I didn't have it in case either. Here's the game. Unfortunately, sometimes you just find the game and you just can't get in case. People don't keep their case for some games. The DS games don't fit as well in these as the Game Boy GBA games do. But it works for the most part. It's fine. I actually think this game is pretty underrated. I think it's better than Sonic Rush. It feels like an improvement that a lot of people just don't talk about. Sonic Rush Adventure. Go play if you haven't. It's pretty fun. Sonic Colors DS, or some people call it Sonic Rush 3. It's not the most exciting game ever. I think it's a little downgrade of the Sonic Rush franchise, and it's a little bit more interesting story-wise than the console game, but nothing too spectacular. You're not missing out a whole lot on this one. Generations 3DS. Oh, I actually have the case for this. Isn't that nice? Overall, this game is not as good as the console version, though I did see someone actually play this online during the last end period of 3DS online segment, which is kind of funny, honestly. What do you mean play it in 2D and 3D? There's no 3D in this fucking game. That's kind of the problem, actually. I remember King's Game being disappointed that it was nowhere near as good as the console version, or the stage selection was also really weird. Having one stage from Sonic Rush, which makes sense, but then the other stages just ran through Green Hill Zone, or just other stages that are fine, but there's less stages at the same time. They're not that interesting. Giving classic Sonic a homing attack from the get-go after going in the adventure area is also kind of weird, and yeah. Whole lot of bad decisions in this game. But it's overall fine, just nothing spectacular. Sonic Lost World 3DS. Oh, I think that playable in 2D and 3D was for the 3D slider. I just realized that now. Oops. Well, this game is pretty bad on 3DS. This game. I remember getting this and be like, oh yeah, let's see how it works. It's going to be the first 3D Sonic game on Nintendo console, because the 3DS can do 3D, and this... Okay, and here is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Beam Machine. If you know something about this, this says Mega Drive, which is the European and Japanese version of the Genesis. More accurately, this is the European PAL box art. And yeah, for some reason, I could not find this box art for the Genesis, even though it is the Genesis game inside. Look there it is. This game is fun, but nothing too spectacular. It's a port, basically, a reskin of Puyo Puyo with Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, minus Sonic. There's like no Sonic in this game, which is kind of weird. And here's Sonic Battle. And this game has some great art style, and I'm actually playing it right now. Ryu may be coming out soon, who knows. But yeah, this game is fun. The only problem is that 1, publisher's THQ, meaning it can't get re-released. And 3, the best way to play this game is with a controller of a joystick, which you cannot do physically. And the only way you can really do that is with emulation. This is one of those games that the best way to play it is on an emulator, which is never good. It's actually not really good to play. I could not get past it playing regularly because the controls are so awkward to use on a DS or Game Boy. The one that would work is GBA regular, but that one doesn't backlit, and a lot of times I find it hard to find a good spot to see the game, and then the game you need to see is where you are. So at the same time, it's just overall you have to play an emulator, which sucks, but I do own it. Sonic Shuffle, this is a game that I would like to like, but at the same time, it sucks ass. Maybe I need to play as another player to see how about if it's any good with that, but there's a lot of decisions I just don't like about this game. But yeah, I did a whole review about that, so go watch that. I have Sonic Riders in the GameCube. I used to have Zero Gravity, but I got rid of it like a long time ago, so I need to buy it again. I didn't like that one, nor do I really care for this one, but it's one of those things I probably need to replay in order to understand it, because it doesn't have basic and simple controls. It's more unique, and people say it's great, so I need to retry it, but at this point, it's eh. This is one of the other Sonic games I haven't played, mostly because I don't feel like setting up a Kinect, and also it looks really bad. Kinect games are usually pretty bad, and this one in particular is really bad. But yeah, Sonic Free Riders. I haven't played it, but you know, had to get it. Here's the Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. I actually started this franchise on the Transform version, but here I found a PS3 copy. I'll get a 360 copy because it has with Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah. There is nothing special with the PS3 version. Like, no playable Kratos. Like, come on. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Sonic's in a car, and they use his car in merchandise all the time for some reason. Sonic doesn't really work in a car, in my opinion. It just looks really weird. Like, yeah, I'm driving a car. Why the hell am I in a car? Here's the Transformed, and yeah, I don't have this on the other console, but you can transform. This game's actually kind of pretty fun from what I remember. But you can play as Wreck-It Ralph and Danancy Patrick. Who the hell is that? Denisa? It's not Denise, it's Danica. Who the hell is that? And that's kind of weird that, yeah, you can't play as Wreck-It Ralph. I remember playing as him in this game. Really weird. The third installment, they decided, like, hey, Sega sucks. It's only Sonic now. Everyone's favorite team, Team Vector. Team Vector. Like, what were they thinking, Team Vector? Why is Cream not playable in this game? Why does Team Rose, like, doesn't have Cream at all? Like, what were they thinking? Yeah, this game's definitely weaker than the other two. Here's all the collections. Here's Sonic Classic Collection, which I remember playing quite a bit. They have Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic 3, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That is nice. And you get the combination. You can get the lock-on versions, which you have to unlock in the Mega Collection. These guys from the default, so you want to have Sonic and Knuckles, you can lock it on the 3 and 2, and get the best version of those games. And yeah, the emulation sucks for this game, but I did like it as a kid. Here is the Mega Collection. We got Mega Collection and Mega Collection Plus, GameCube and PS2. They are slightly different versions. I have made a video on both of them. Even the box art is slightly different, which is kind of interesting. Here we got 7 great hits, plus extra games, plus bonus features. Let's take a look. Is there anything different on the back? No, not really. They basically say they have the same games. This one does have a little extra bonus games, but they're not but there's nothing really too big. It really is up to you what you want, but this is on a DVD. Sonic Gems Collection, which has 3 must-have hits, including Sonic CD, plus 6 bonus games. All those bonus games are just generic Game Gear games, which you could already get on the Venture DX. These are some of the main ones, basically. The only reason to have this, which is unfortunate, there's not a whole lot in it. These are the only 3 games that it really has that are worth this game is worth picking up, because these two games are pretty hard to play anywhere else, really. Sonic CD not so much anymore, but these two, yeah, they're pretty hard to find. Here we have 2 copies of Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. And you notice these are both 360, but one's a platinum hit, which has that ugly gray thing I told you. This one has an ugly GameStop sticker, and not on the spine, but inside the actual insert, just to piss people off. GameStop, I hate you. Look, you put 3 stupid stickers on here. Thanks a lot. Here's the only Sega Sonic PC game I own. This is Sega Smashback 2, which features Sonic 2, I think? It has Sonic art artwork, but it just says featuring Sonic 2. Let's see, this has Sonic 2, doesn't have any other Sonic games. Well, it has Flicky, and yeah, that's about it. It's not the worst port in the world, but there's probably better out there. Here it is, Sonic Origins Plus, the last compilation game. I honestly really like Origins Plus. I think it does a pretty good job. Other than Sonic 3, that one is not very definitive, but everything else, I think it's fine. This is one of those games like, oh, it's terrible, where I just didn't understand what the people were coming from. There's a little nitpicky problems other than Sonic 3 issues, but I didn't really have any really major problems with the game. It could have added more, sure, but it's not. I mean, I just don't. Yeah, I think some people just complain way too much, at least in my opinion. I have 4 copies of Sega Superstars Tennis. Yeah, I have 4 copies. Xbox 360 one, which has this weird live arcade thing on it, which is really weird. Wii, PS2, and DS. And none of them are really that interesting enough to even really play, but I have 4 copies. We got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, one of the weirdest crossovers that still is kind of around. Here's the original Wii and DS versions, which are both different games, but you know, they have the same box art, so whatever. The Wii version's better. It's very nostalgic for me, but not really the best because it relies heavily on motion controls. It's so weird. This is still, even though it's been like, what, over like almost 20 years, maybe 15 years, since this franchise started, it is still something that is jarring. Mario and Sonic crossovering to compete in Olympic sports. Like, what was the idea behind this? Well, I do know the idea behind it, but it's still really bizarre. Here we have the Olympic Winter Games. We have the Wii and DS version. The DS version has different box art than the Wii version. And yeah, actually I haven't really played these games enough to really give my full assessment on them. One of these days I will have to, though. I own a loose 3DS copy of the London 2012 Olympic Games. It's right there. Can you see it? Yeah, not a whole lot to say about this one either. We have the currently last Winter Games, the Sochi 2014. These versions didn't sell as well, but here it is, Mario and Sonic at Sochi, their favorite place in the world. And here's the last Olympic Games. We got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020. From what I played, this is easily the best one in the franchise. I really like this one, actually. And if you're interested in any of them, I'd recommend to pick this one up. Yeah, from what I played. Lastly, these are all the Super Smash Bros. Games that Sonic appears in. From Brawl, 3DS, Wii U, and Ultimate. Alright, that's the end of the video. Well, I don't have every Sonic game in the world. I do have I think, a pretty good collection. Of the ones I don't have, I would like to own one of the Sega Saturn games, but they're pretty expensive. I saw one out in public once. I was like, oh, that looks so, I wish I had that, but I don't have $100. I like to own some of the main ones I don't have. One of the ones I like to own is Sonic Chronicles, because I actually never played that game. It looks like I'm going to have to emulate it, because when I get to reviewing, because, you know, I don't know, maybe we'll see. I also like to own Knuckles Chaotix, and the other Game Gear games. Yeah. Sonic, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool franchise, and I'll continue collecting his games, because they're fun to play. And yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your favorite Sonic game? Bye-bye for now.